dynamic from like a work perspective prior to even communicating how you feel. And I mean, I can assume, like, I can imagine something like that occurring in like a work or corporate environment, but rarely are you also friends and in the same friend circle in that environment. And I think that's what kind of makes me the most sad about it all. I wish people were just more open about the things that they felt as opposed to like, yeah, just like sharing with their friends, and things always go around. So, it's complicated to navigate. How do you feel about it though? Because I feel like you are like just very straightforward. And I assume by design, because you just don't want to be involved in like drama or issues. Like you're very clear with like the expectations people can have of you, and you are very, what's the word? Like fair? Like what, Broden, what's the word when you ask someone for their opinion and they'll give like a very reasonable response? Not biased? Something like that.
Unbiased sounds right.
Oh, thank you.
Unbiased opinion, yeah.
I don't know if there's another word you can think of. But whenever I'm like, I need an objective perspective, I go to Toast and I tell them the whole thing. I'm like, what's going on here? And you're just like very reasonable in your take.
Yeah.
Impartial, neutral.
Impartial, yeah.
Yeah. I think I mediate pretty often between people because I try and be as impartial as possible. Like even we've had like cancellations over the last 4 or 5 years of our careers, and some of these people who are like getting canceled will still like ask, hey Toast, what should I do? And I would give them advice that I think is best for them, that sometimes will go against what's best for like some of my friends, because at the end of the day, it's like you gotta do what's best for you, right? I don't want to tell you something that's gonna work against you just because I want someone else who I like more benefit from it.
But what if what's best for you is not to tell them that? Because then if the other person knows, then they will hold that against you. You know? Like, these are the complications.
Like, you gave good advice to my enemy. Like, well, I also don't want to lie to the person and give them bad advice. So
I feel like we wind up in these situations a lot where it's a little bit like pick and choose as soon as there is an issue or conflict. So.
Yeah, it's because I'm pretty biased in my decision from time to time. Like when it comes, like I have to make a decision, I would tend to side with the people I personally like the more, even if they are wrong, and it has happened before. But I always try and be as upfront as I can. It's like, look, I'm making this decision, and the reason is I like this person.
Yes, no, Toast will straight up say that. I've seen this on numerous occasions, and it's funny because like you are known as this very like logical, blunt, monotone guy a lot of the time, and you do have all those qualities. You're really witty, but there is also a part of you that once you like someone, you stand by that quite a lot, which I like a lot. And when you see that peer through, sometimes in your mind you're like, this doesn't make sense, but you're also just so straightforward about it. You're like, I am making this decision to be illogical because I like you. It's cute.
Yeah, but I try and stay out of it. Like I have these phases where I hate everyone in a friend group.
For me, it's less so hate, and I will just be like, I would like to run away to Canada.
Yeah.
Because to me, Canada's like this land of family and love and rainbows, and no problems will ever happen there. And when things get complicated here, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Bye. I mean, I've done that a couple of times where it's like, okay, this is getting too much. I'm going back to Canada for 2 months. And then people start messaging me and say, hey, you know, this thing happened, what do I do? And then I feel like, okay, I need to go back to the States because... but what I've learned is everyone is nice and they ultimately are good people, but you have... Well, our friend group has ballooned to like 50 individuals, all streamers, all experiencing.
It's just impossible to manage.
Yeah, and there are times where it's just like a decision has to be made and someone's going to be unhappy, right? And what do you do then?
It's tough.
try to stay out of it, but